Grace to please come up on the dais and grace the occasion. I request Dr. Fuji to please come up on the stage.
As we all know that we are here today on the inaugural ceremony of this third International Wheat Conference, which is organized by Indian Society of Wheat Science and Anand Agricultural University, Anand. We request all our dignitaries to come forward for lighting of lamp. As per our tradition, we always pray to the Almighty before we go for any such auspicious occasion. We request all our dignitaries to come forward for lighting of the lamp. Let us pray to the Almighty to bring the blessings to all of us.
I invite our very young Baka students just admitted for the sanctification of the ambience with the prayer.
Good morning to all. आ जाओगे सब मिलके रब से दुआ मांगे जीवन में सुकून चाहे चाहत में वफा मांगे हालात बदलने में अब देर न हो मालिक जो देख चुके फिर ये अंधेर न हो मालिक एक तू ही भरोसा एक तू ही सहारा इस तेरे जहां में नहीं कोई हमारा ईश्वर या अल्लाह ये पुकार सुन ले ईश्वर या अल्लाह हे दाता ईश्वर या अल्लाह ये पुकार सुन ले ईश्वर या अल्लाह हे दाता ईश्वर या अल्लाह ये पुकार सुन ले ईश्वर या अल्लाह हे दाता हमसे न देखा जाए बर्बादियों का आसमां उजड़ी हुई बस्ती में तड़प रहे इंसान हमसे न देखा जाए बर्बादियों का आसमां उजड़ी हुई बस्ती में ये तड़प रहे इंसान नन्हे जिस्मों के टुकड़े लिए खड़ी है एक माँ बारूद के धुएं में तू ही बोल जाए कहाँ तू ही भरोसा, एक तू ही सहारा, इस तेरे जहां में नहीं कोई हमारा। ईश्वर या अल्लाह ये पुकार सुन ले, ईश्वर या अल्लाह है दाता। ईश्वर या अल्लाह ये पुकार सुन ले, ईश्वर या अल्लाह है दाता। नादा है हम तो मालिक, क्यों दे हमें सजा, यहाँ है सभी के दिल में नफरत का जहर भरा। नादा है हम तो मालिक, क्यों दे हमें सजा, यहाँ है सभी के दिल में नफरत का जहर भरा। ये फिर से याद दिला दे सबक वही प्यार का, बन जाए गुलशन फिर से काटो भरी दुनिया। एक तू ही भरोसा, एक तू ही सहारा, इस तेरे जहां में नहीं कोई हमारा। ईश्वर या अल्लाह ये पुकार सुन ले, ईश्वर या अल्लाह है दाता। ईश्वर या अल्लाह ये पुकार सुन ले, ईश्वर या अल्लाह है दाता। ईश्वर या अल्लाह ये पुकार सुन ले, ईश्वर या अल्लाह है दाता। थैंक यू।
Truly, an invocation to Almighty brings a lot of positivity to all of us. After this prayer, now, we'll be listening to our university song. University song is not merely the words, merely the lyrics. It's the spirit that motivates all of us to come forward with new initiatives and new workforce and work energy. So, next is our AAU university song.
संस्कृति के दिए जलते किए, गूंजी गिरा रविशंकरी।
गूंजी गिरा रविशंकरी, गुणवन्तो राष्ट्रं कृषि सम्पन्नम्। सरदार रास अड़ास में बापू चले थे साथ में।
विज्ञानगर आनंद में, विज्ञान ज्ञान गंगोत्री।
विज्ञान ज्ञान गंगोत्री, गुणवन्तो राष्ट्रं कृषि सम्पन्नम्। संस्कृति कृषि वत्सलम्, कल्याण की जो मंगलम्। गुणवन्तो राष्ट्रं कृषि सम्पन्नम्। गुणवन्तो राष्ट्रं कृषि सम्पन्नम्। गुणवन्तो राष्ट्रं कृषि सम्पन्नम्।
With this nice introduction of Anand Agricultural University, we now move forward with our program. I invite Dr. J.S. Mishra, Secretary, Indian Society of Weed Science and Director, ICAR, Directorate of Weed Research, to place his welcome remarks. Please, sir.
Honorable dignitaries, dear delegates, colleagues from different pesticide industries who are always generous for this type of conferences, faculty members of Anand Agriculture University, Anand, senior weed scientists from India and abroad, students, press and media, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning and warm greetings. On behalf of the Indian Society of Weed Science, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, Directorate of Weed Research, Jabalpur, and Anand Agriculture University, Anand, I would like to cordially welcome you all to the 3rd International Weed Conference on Weed Problems and Management Challenges, Future Perspective at this very beautiful campus. At the outset, I most humbly welcome the chief guest of the inaugural function, Dr. Himanshu Pathak sir, the Secretary DARE and Director General ICAR. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time to join this program virtually and gracing the occasion. I also welcome Deputy Director General Natural Resource Management, ICAR, and guest of honor, Dr. S.K. Chaudhary Sahab, for gracing the occasion virtually. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time and gracing us. It's indeed a great pleasure and honor for me to welcome the honorable dignitaries on the dais, Dr. K.V. Kataria, sir, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of this Anand Agriculture University, Anand, for presiding over this inaugural program. I would now request the President, Indian Society of Weed Science, Dr. Sushil Kumar, to welcome and felicitate the Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, with bouquet, flower, and shawl and memento. Dr. Sushil Kumar, please. I once again request the President of the Indian Society of Beat Science to welcome and felicitate Dr. Samundar Singh, the President of International Beat Science Society America, and the guest of honor for this program. I again request Dr. Sushil Kumar, the President of the Society, to welcome the guest of honor, Professor Yasuharu Fusey from the Tokyo University and Agriculture and Technology, Japan, and the guest of honor of the program. Dr. Sushil Kumar is once again requested to please welcome and felicitate Dr. M.K. Jhala Sahab, the worthy director of this, director research of this prestigious university. I once again request Dr. Sushil Kumar to welcome Dr. Y.M. Sukla Sahab, the principal and dean college of this very beautiful college of this agriculture university, Dr. Sushil Kumar. Friends, we are sure that this conference will be a platform to gather and disseminate the latest knowledge in recent advances in emerging areas of beat science, and also provide a platform for all the participants to plan our next journey in the beat science research, so as our research program would reach the newer height for beat research and management. I, from the organizing committee side, wishing you all for a very happy Christmas and a very happy New Year 2023. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. M.K. Jhala, Director of Research, Anand Agricultural University, Anand, to address the gathering.
A very good morning to all, and very warm greetings to all. Chief guest of this inaugural function, Honorable Secretary DARE and DG ICR, respected Dr. Pathak sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of AAU and President of the function, Dr. Kathiria sir, respected DDG NRM ICR, Dr. Chaudhary sir, Dr. Samundar Singh, Professor Yoshiharu Fujii, President ISWS Dr. Sushil Kumar, Secretary ISWS and Director of DWR Jabalpur Dr. Mishra sir, Dean Dr. Shukla, University officers, other deans of the university, principals, unit heads, heads of the department, invitees, delegates, and our friends from the press and media. Nothing can be better than today's gathering in front of me, especially considering the commitment of AAU for the progressive scientific endeavor, justifying the meaningful existence of this great university at this great milk city of India. And such an event obviously becomes more meaningful and satisfying when a very important domain of agricultural research is at the focused attention, in presence of a galaxy of scientists, policymakers, and students dignifying the occasion. Hence, ladies and gentlemen, more than a pleasure for this occasion, for these cherished moments, for this well-planned and well-guided conference. I'd say well-guided conference to discuss about misguided plants, which are weeds, which are the costliest category of agricultural pest, causing more yield losses and add more to farmers' production cost than insect pest, crop pathogens, root-feeding nematodes, or warm-blooded vertebrates. Moreover, in current era of more focus on organic farming principles, the set standards preclude the use of most of the herbicides, where organic farmers consider weeds their most serious barrier to successful organic production. But there is also another side of the story. Owing to their luxuriant leafy growth and when buried in the soil as green manure, weeds add considerable amount of organic matter and nutrients. If it weren't for weeds, the world would have lost more topsoils than it has to date. Weeds do a vital job thus in an ecosystem. They quickly establish in, protect and restore soil, and that has been left exposed by natural and human-caused disturbances. Under current mix of problems, both climatic and man-made, the intensive weed problems can be resolved by location-specific effective adaptation of newly emerging tools and technologies. Government and policy planners too have initiated working towards regulatory modification and incentives that smooth the way for innovation in weed control with accelerated and advanced research in weed science. Weeds are certainly as old as agriculture, and weed interaction plays an important role to control influences on farming, and I'm sure a lot of scientific interactions on such emerging aspects are going to be deliberated in this conference to deliver a substantial knowledge sphere on this important aspect of agricultural research. Indeed, there is a great need for a new weed management paradigm in modern agriculture that is based on ecological principles and non-conventional weed management approaches. A combined use of different weed control methods within a system rather than relying on a single method is required, along with element of precision weed management. Many developed nations have well-initiated adaptations of smart sensors, remote sensing, air vehicles, satellites, the Internet of Things technology, etc., where multispectral and hyperspectral imaging sensors mounted on UAVs are being successfully utilized to detect weeds and distinguish the species. The challenges and opportunities for weed research include managing weeds under small farms, popularizing integrated weed management strategies, safe use of herbicides, understanding weed biology, ecology, and shift in weed population, herbicide-resistant weeds and their management, application of bioagents, herbicide-resistant crops, and preventing invasive weeds. I am happy to share as a director of research of this university that since inception of AICRP on weed management, Anand Center has been working on above challenges with significant contribution in weed management. The AAU Center has made 33 recommendations in different crops and cropping system for the benefit of agrarian community. During last 3 years only, the scientists working in this project at AAU has received Best Research Award of the university, Best Extension Activities Awards from the AAU, Fellow ISWS Award 2017 from Indian Society of Weed Science, Lifetime Achievement Award from Plant Protection Society of Gujarat, and many other best poster and paper presentation awards from different societies and organizations. Looking to the overall performance in respect of research, extension, and training, the AICRP Weed Management Center at Anand received Best Center Award 2020 from among 17 AICRP centers working in the country. And before I end, I would just like to, I feel tempted rather to share about one research paper which has been recently published in 2022 issue of Indian Journal of Weed Science, which I'm sure you all must be referring. And I'm happy that one of the senior co-author, Dr. P.K. Singh, is here, and many other authors also will be here. Trends in Global Herbicide Research during 2011 to 2020, a Web of Science-based scientometric study. And the authors are here. It's a very interesting article. Scientometric study has been done considering all the literature which has been published on the weed and herbicides and other aspects. As per this survey, nearly 10,000 research papers were published on herbicide research overall in the world, with an average citation per article of nearly 10. During this period, there has been an increasing trend in volume of publication, and leading countries in herbicide research domain were US, China, and Brazil. India ranked 7th in number of publication, but India is not in the first 10 as far as the number of citations are concerned. So I hope I could convey the message, especially to the young scientists under this domain, and realize that there is a need to strengthen quality research with quality publication, which can invite the more number of citation. We need more effective involvement of researchers and farmers with the integration of ecological and technological principles into weed management, decision making at a grassroots level. Today, India's and probably the world's best brains on this crucial domain are already here. Hence, we all expect manifold knowledge bits after dozens of brainstormings here in this conference. I wish you all a grand success for this important scientific gathering, sharing innovative ideas and scientific temperament for the benefit of science, farmers, and the nation. AAU feels privileged to have the Honorable Secretary DARE and DGICR, respected Dr. Pathak sir, for his esteemed presence, which is a great inspiration. Also, the presence of respected DDG Dr. Chaudhary sir is like a pampered hand-holding with blessings to this university. As the host institute, I welcome all the dignitaries, the office bearers of the society, Dr. Samandar Singh, Professor Yoshihari Fuji, all the Indians and overseas delegates, and we feel more than blessed by your esteemed presence. AAU has been working, the research has been a strength of AAU since long, and since you have come from different parts of the country as well as from the world, I would also like to request you that whenever you find time in between, please try to visit various research centers and other academic centers and extension centers of the university whenever you feel time. And we will be happy to establish more links with the various organizations and institute for the betterment of science. We have tried our best, leaving no stone unturned in making this conference successful. I hope you all are comfortable, but if at all you have any problem for that matter, please kindly bring to our notice and that will be solved. Again, wishing all the success to this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for such a sincere and encouraging introductory remarks. I now request Dr. S.K. Chaudhary, respected Deputy Director General, NRM, to offer his view for the occasion. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. I believe I'm audible there. Dr. Himanshu Pathak, Secretary DARE and Director General of ICR, Dr. Kathiriya ji, the worthy Vice Chancellor of Anand Agricultural University, Anand, Sushil Kumar ji, the President of Indian Society of Weed Science and convener of the present conference, Dr. J.S. Mishra, our director colleague at the Directorate of Weed Research, Jabalpur, and also the organizing secretary of this conference, Dr. Samandar Singh from the International Society of Weed Sciences, President, Professor Yoshihari Fuji from Tokyo University, Dr. M.K. Jhalaji, the Director Research of this university, Shuklaji, and my esteemed colleague Dr. P.K. Singh, who is present there, other dignitaries on and off the dais, colleagues, delegates from abroad and India, student friends, representative of press and media, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really missing today that I'm not present there and I'm present virtually only. So it is indeed a matter of great joy and also an honor for me to share my thoughts on this occasion. This is the third International Weed Conference being jointly organized by ICR, DWR, Jabalpur, and Anand Agricultural University. I'm most thankful to the organizers for this invitation. Let me also at the outset confess that I could not present there physically due to many hard-pressed assignments in hand. At the same time, I am fully aware that I know very little about the weed science and weed science domain as a whole, and all of you are far more richer in experiences, and your experiences are also very, very extensive in this field. When we look at the global scenario, the current world population is 7.6 billion, which is expected to cross 10 billion mark by 2050. And to feed such huge population, you require many attempts, many ways, and many approaches and strategies. And one such strategy is to reduce the losses which are happening from various sources. Weeds are the major biotic constraint to agriculture production, besides adversely affecting the agrobiodiversity, environment, and also human and animal health. Worldwide, if you consider, weeds cause the highest potential loss, more than 30% sometimes, and followed by insects and pathogens, so on and so forth. In India, we have computed about 11 billion US dollar equivalent per year we are losing because of weeds alone, and that too in 10 major crops, not all the crops, 10 major crops. And weed management is therefore is very much essential and very important aspect of Indian agriculture, rather sustainable Indian agriculture. And so far production is concerned, we need to take care of these weeds in view of the emerging challenges in agriculture due to extreme climate and weather events, the decline in water availability, energy crisis, labor shortages, global trade, then herbicide resistance in weeds, adverse impact of herbicides on the quality of crop produce, the environment and human health, all these things, and development of efficient weed management technologies incorporating the interaction of environmental, economic, and societal dimensions of agro ecosystem as a whole is very vital. Whether increasing production, productivity, or sustainability, or farmers' income is concerned. Therefore, weed science as an integral part of agriculture production needs to evolve by moving away from its monodisciplinary perspective and targeting weeds, sometimes a single species, through the over reliance on a few single herbicide mechanism of action. Herbicides remain a simple and cost-effective way to control weeds, but the incidences of herbicide resistance are increasing day by day, and the infestation of herbicide-resistant weeds are increasing, and methodologies for early detection of herbicide resistance in weeds and their effective management strategies that also needs to be developed. And this process is continuous process for the period of time. Some more new weeds will emerge, and also we need to make changes in our protocols, methodologies, and also whatever mechanism we have at present. In view of the increasing restriction on some of the major herbicides and increasing importance of organic agriculture and natural farming, there is a need to focus on alternative herbicides, including the bioherbicides. My industry colleagues who are sitting here, and they are also supporting this conference, my request would be, let us join hand and work together to find out ways and means and explore new ideas, new areas, alternative herbicides or bioherbicides. The protocols, methodologies for quick detection and quantification of multiple herbicides, residues in grains and other edible parts, soil, water, fishes, and other non-target organisms that also need to be developed. There is a great need for a new weed management paradigm in modern agriculture based on ecological principles and non-conventional weed management approaches. These approaches may offer more durable weed management solutions to lessen problems of herbicide resistance, environmental pollution, weed diversification, weed invasion, and yield losses. Agriculture is also moving into a new era of big data and data analysis or digital farming. It will be interesting to see what new enforcing weed control solution will emerge from this new farming approach that will allow more intelligent application of integration of weed management technologies. And this is altogether a new area, at least for Indian agriculture. It is an infant state, and we are very much hopeful and relying more on modern tools and techniques for weed management in the field using the most latest the tools of like artificial intelligence or Internet of Things or machine learning and all these things. Now, unmanned aerial vehicles, it provides a great potential, it has great promise to offer in control. The climate, which is very important aspect now, climate change is a reality and being experienced worldwide. So the climate change factors on crop-weed interaction, the wheat flora shifts, the herbicide efficacy, all these aspects are getting affected by climate change phenomena, and how they are affecting, what are the basic processes, what are the basic aspects which can be modeled, which can be used, and by using this analysis synthesis, we can provide the futuristic solutions for the better weed management in future. The impact assessment, whether economic, environmental, or societal, the impact assessment of whole weed management technologies, this need to be given priority. The latest tools and techniques need to be adopted for wider dissemination of weed management technology, not amongst the farmers, but all the stakeholders. And the key of this is, let us go in multidisciplinary mode. Multi-institutional approach is also required. It's not only ICR and state agriculture universities. We also need to open up enough to other other corridors of the society, whether it is private partners or public institutions or non-governmental organizations. We need to open our heart, open our hands, open our minds to collaborate with all national and international institutions and laboratories, and also the private partners to strengthen the whole weed management approach which we are following in this country. Not only in this country, but globally also. In addition, managing weeds, their potential for utilization as a source of vermicomposting material or biochar or essential oils or as soil amendments, biofuel, bioenergy, all alternate uses are there. So what best possible alternate uses are there, stand alone or in conjunction with other material, or in conjunction with some microbial materials or microbial substrates, how best we can find out the alternative ways by which we can utilize this weed biomass in a better manner. I believe all these aspects you are going to discuss in depth and dimension. On today's occasion, once again, I extend my sincere congratulations to the Indian Society of Weed Science for organizing this mega event in India, and thanks for giving the opportunity for sharing my views in this international weed conference. I hope that the deliberations during this conference will provide practical and implementable recommendations which will be useful for the scientific community, students, farmers, policymakers, and other stakeholders. I congratulate the organizers and extend my best wishes for grand success of the event. Wishing you all a very happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year, and also a Merry Christmas ahead. Thank you very much. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing all your brilliant observations and for your insightful inputs in the conference. May I now request our Honorable Director General ICAR and Secretary DARE, Dr. Himanshu Pathak, to address the gathering. Sir, we are glad to have your online presence. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir, we are glad to have your online presence in the conference. And may I now request to address the gathering our chief guest, Dr. Himanshu Pathak, Secretary DARE and DG ICAR. Sir, am I audible?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Chaudhary, DDG NRM, Dr. Kathiria, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Anand University, Dr. Sushil Kumarji, Honorable President, Dr. Misra, the Director of our Weed Research Directorate. Of course, I'm also very happy to know that Dr. Samandar Singh ji, Dr. Fuji, Dr. Jhala, Dr. Y.M. Sukla are there on the dais, and also my colleagues and friends, Dr. P.K. Singh, and a galaxy of weed scientists are also present, members of the industries, private organizations, press and media, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, online, but let me also welcome each and every one of you in this very important international weed conference, which is jointly being organized by Indian Society of Weed Science, I share Directorate of Weed Research and Anand University to address one of the most difficult challenges, all of you know, my friends, of managing weeds. I know you are at Anand, and when you are at Anand, all of you will be an Anand only, so you must be enjoying all the hospitality, all the achievements, and all the things which AAU is there to offer. Friends, you know, that place is the Karmabhumi of Sardar Patel, Sri K. Munshi, Sri Tribhuvan Das Patel, Dr. Kurian, and many others. So whenever I take the name of Anand, I really feel a moment of satisfaction and achievement rather. And I always feel very happy that something is happening in Anand, the Dugdh Nagari, the best place of saints and Mahatmas, the green belt of Gujarat. So Honorable Vice Chancellor Sahab, through you, I congratulate each and every one of your staff and also those who have joined physically today in your campus. So my congratulations to you and all others who have been there in this very important international conference. Of course, all of you are very renowned weed scientists, and certainly I'm not going to say much about weed problems and how to manage them. अगर मैं कुछ बोलूंगा तो वही होगा कि सूरज को दिया दिखाने वाली बात है, जो मैं करना नहीं चाहूंगा. And whatever little points I collected, Dr. Chaudhary has already spoken all of those. So I am actually left with almost nothing. And that's a good thing actually. That's a really good thing that all of you know everything. Whatever I had to say, Dr. Chaudhary has already spoken. So my job is now over. Only thing left to me is to congratulate you. To congratulate each and every one of you who are serving weed science, trying to manage a very important challenge of not only Indian agriculture, but also global agriculture, and trying your best to also address the emerging challenges. You know, weed management, of course, we are practicing for last many centuries or decades rather, but then it has never been so easy. And in times to come, it is again going to be more and more difficult. The points which you are going to discuss about herbicide resistance because of decade of chemical weed control, all of you know about it. Global climate change is going to change the dynamics of weeds, and there are several studies we have conducted in many places where you could see that because of climatic changes, how the weed population, how their intensity, how their efficacy, and their other aspects of dynamics are also changing, and this is going to be even more and more in times to come. We are also following conservation agriculture, and I know that our Weed Research Directorate has got the whole area under conservation agriculture. But again, when you go for conservation agriculture, friends, you know that weed dynamics again change. Probably you didn't follow it, you didn't know it earlier because that time conservation agriculture was not much practiced. But along with conservation agriculture or even other practices, including organic farming, including regenerative agriculture, and also this natural farming. So whenever you shift to a new mode of growing crops, certainly a new mode of weed management practices also have to be developed. They say that weeds are smarter than the crops. So when weeds are smarter than the crops, any type of crop management will be challenged by the weeds. So you go for conservation agriculture, it will be challenged by the weeds. You go for direct seeding of rice, it will be challenged by the weeds. You go for regenerative agriculture, organic farming, natural farming, again a new dimension and new challenges will be coming from the weeds front because they are smarter than your management practices. That means the scientists have to be all the time engaged in developing new tools and techniques of managing those emerging challenges of weeds. And for first of all, we have to understand what is the mechanism, how the dynamics of weed are going to change. And then only you can go for developing a new technology. But friends, there are several new avenues which have also come. And I think these new developments in research, science and technology are going to be very, very useful. All of you know about the development of bioherbicides, and several very efficient molecules are also coming. You also know about herbicide crops, and there are several crops. The varieties are almost ready, which are going to be released very shortly. Few weeks back, I was visiting the field of IARI, Indian Agriculture Research Institute, where they have developed a few rice varieties which are tolerant to herbicide. So HT rice, herbicide tolerant rice. And similar kind of technologies and tools are also going to come for many other crops. I know there are varieties like mustard and so on where herbicide tolerant varieties are available. Now these are going to be some of the areas where weed management practices are going to change very drastically. But then along with this, there are several challenges of environmental pollution, herbicide residue. So whenever we talk of chemical control, of course we talk of that herbicide tolerant crops like herbicide tolerant rice will be very useful, but then again we are going to use herbicide. And whenever we are going to use herbicide, there are going to be herbicide residues, be it in the soil, be it in the water bodies and so on. So the pollution problem is going to increase if we are going to use more and more of these herbicides. So this aspect also have to be taken into consideration of how to manage weeds in coming days and coming decades. Dr. Chaudhary already talked about some of the new tools and techniques, including gene editing, digital farming, RNAi technology, and several crop management technologies, including agronomy, soil science, and so on. So all of this, including our traditional knowledges, have to be incorporated, have to be integrated to develop sustainable weed management practices that all of you know. Friends, as I say all the time, that the coming few years, and to be specific, the next 25 years, till 2047, when the country is going to celebrate the centenary of its independence, this Amrit Kal is going to be crucial for all of us, particularly the agricultural scientists. So every tools and techniques, science and research have to be exploited so that Indian agriculture and also global agriculture becomes not only sustainable, but also profitable, also climate resilient, and so on. That means there are several aspirations to be met. There are several challenges to be addressed. There are several wish lists from every agency which are to be fulfilled. And if we have to achieve all of these things together, then the way we do research, the way we develop technologies, the way we deliver the technologies are also going to be different. So we need to do the things differently than what we have been doing so far. As also they say that we cannot get different result by repeating the same thing. So our way of doing the things should be different. And they also say that we cannot solve the problems with same knowledge with which we created those problems. That means our knowledge, our understanding, the basic research of weed science, weed crop interaction, weed climate interaction, weed crop, soil, water, environment, and also animal and other components, the whole ecosystem also need to be thoroughly understood, thoroughly researched. That means for development, we need new science, new research, new skill, and new innovations. And all these things should come by integrating our traditional knowledges along with the modern and emerging science and technologies. And here, I again would like to remind you the very famous quote which has been rechristened by our Honorable Prime Minister, Jai Jawan, Jai Kishan, Jai Bigyan, and Jai Anushandhan. That Anushandhan is going to be very, very crucial from now onwards. Dr. Jhala talked about the publication and its citation, very important, as I said. So we have to do the things different. We have to be more effective. We have to be more productive. We have to be more responsive. Then only we'll be able to address all these issues. We have to come out with new products, and I'm very happy to know that several representatives of private organizations, industries are also with us. So in the council, we are going to develop a kind of mechanism of how closely we will be able to work with the private organizations. Not only to deliver the technologies, not only to commercialize the technologies, but from the beginning of developing the technologies. And that time has come. And for, of course, delivery, all the startups, APOs, all the people who are directly or indirectly associated in the development of new technologies, new science, have to come together. And this conference is a perfect point, a perfect forum to discuss all of this. And I congratulate all of those who have thought about this conference, have brought every one of you together, and are going to deliberate on each and every issues which have been raised by Dr. Chaudhary. I also raised a few, and of course you are the people. I know you are the people who know wood science. You know what are the challenges. You know how the solutions would come. So on this particular occasion, once again I extend my sincere congratulations to the Indian Society of Wood Science for organizing this third International Wood Conference in Anand, India. I wish you a very productive discussion over the course of the conference, and I very much look forward, and I repeat, please make it bold and underline, I am really looking forward for practical and implementable recommendations for the scientific community, policymakers, and other stakeholders from these deliberations. I wish all of you a very happy and productive conference, and also a very prosperous New Year 2023. Jai Hind. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind remarks covering all the pertinent issues. It was an honor to have you amongst us. Ladies and gentlemen, considering the packed schedule of our Honorable Director General and Deputy Director General, Dr. K.B. Katria, Honorable Vice Chancellor, would very much like to extend his gratitude towards them. Please, sir.
Good morning to everyone. Just in between, I would like to extend the thanks to our Honorable DDG on this occasion of the inaugural function of third International WID Conference, WID Problems and Management Challenges, Future Perspectives. I wholeheartedly express my gratitude to today's chief guest, Honorable Director General ICR and Secretary DARE, Dr. Himanshu Pathak sir. Though we expected you to be here with us physically, but in view of other these important engagements, we can understand you couldn't remain present. However, you managed to be online with us and graced the event by sparing your very precious time. Sir, every time you inspire us and push us to do more and more for the upliftment of Indian agriculture. Your presence has emphasized all of us. Thank you so much for blessing us with your visual presence and guidance. At the same time, I am thankful to the guest of honor, DDG NRM Dr. S.K. Chaudhary sir. Despite your busy schedule, you also remain virtually present. Your continuous guidance and support has made this event a grand success. Thank you very much to both, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks.
As we all know that any such conference is a platform for idea sharing, knowledge sharing, and it's a kind of opportunity for all of us for sharing our research inputs and outputs both. So, as a part of this conference, we are glad to share with you that we are today going to unveil 3 prestigious publications. It's all about research recommendations as well. So, may I now request all our respected dignitaries on the dais to come forward to unveil the 3 publications that we are going to launch today. Namely, these 3 publications are Technological Glimpses on Weeds and Their Management, Proceedings of 3rd International Weed Conference, and Research Accomplishments and Recommendations 2022 by Anand Agricultural University. It is indeed essential to put all our research ideas in black and white to make it reach more number of people all across the world. I repeat, all the 3 publications, I mean titles of the 3 publications: Technological Glimpses on Weeds and Their Management, Proceedings of 3rd International Weed Conference, and the third one is Research Accomplishments and Recommendations 2022 by Anand Agricultural University. We are sure that these 3 publications would be a great help to all researchers.
Thank you. May I now request Dr. Sushil Kumar, President, Indian Society of Wheat Science, to place his remarks. Please, sir.
At the outset, I welcome our respected Secretary Dear and DG ICR, Dr. Himanshu Pathak, our respected Deputy Director General, Dr. S.K. Chaudhary Saab, Vice Chancellor of this host institute, Dr. K.B. Katharia Saab, our guest of honor, Dr. Samundar Singh, President of International Wheat Science Society, Dr. Yasuharu Suji, Professor from Tokyo University of Agriculture and Technology, Japan, Dr. Jhala Saab, Dr. Sukla Saab, all the stalwarts of wheat scientists, delegates, students, media persons, I welcome you all at this auspicious occasion. So now the theme of this conference, as you know, that wheat problems and management challenges and future perspectives. So as we all know that our respected dignitaries, Dr. S.K. Chaudhary and Dr. Himanshu Pathak, they have already given us a guidelines of the problems and the management. But still, I would like to express that all we know that what are the losses caused by the weeds. We all know that if there will be no weeds in the field, I think farmers' work will be reduced too much. These are only the weeds due to which farmers always they remain very busy in management of the weeds. So that's why weed is very much important pest among all the pests. And this is the reason that weeds accounts about 37% loss in the agriculture. And in one of the studies in India, it was accounted that about 11 billion US dollar loss is caused only in major 10 weeds. And if we consider about the loss to environment, to loss to biodiversity, loss to health, then certainly it will count huge losses by the weeds. And now, if we talk about the weed problems first, then we all know that how weeds problems we are facing. Not only farmers are facing, but all the scientists and researchers are also facing. Because as our Director General, he said that weeds are more smarter than the crops. So always there are competition between weeds and crops, and particularly if we talk about the emerging challenges of effect of climate, certainly researches prove that weeds have become the more smarter, because they are able to grow more fast, they are able to produce huge quantity of seeds, and they are also able to cause huge losses. In comparison to that, under the climate change, crops are not competing than the weeds. And if we talk about the problems, we all know about the herbicide resistance. We all are facing a lot of problem about the herbicide resistance, and now we have to cope to come up these herbicide resistance scenarios. And of course, since long time we are using a lot of molecules, but lack of new molecule is also a big problem. And now we have to find out the solution, to find out the new molecules to cope up with the weeds. And if we talk about the biological control, in biological control also, because we want that environmental and cheap effective management technology, so biological control has become one of that technology, but lack of host specific bioagents or the narrow range bioagents who can cause damage to one or two more weed species is also a very big problem. So we have to seek the solution to find out the more effective bioagents for the broader range of the weeds. For example, at present we are having bioagents for aquatic weeds like water hyacinth, salvinia, and also one bioagent for parthenium. But in other way we find that bioagents are not there for lantana management or chromelena management. Most of the alien invasive weeds we are still trying to find the good bioagents. And if we now a problem is also about the management of weeds in organic farming. And in organic farming, you all know that we can not use herbicides. We have to opt and rely on the non-herbicide or non-chemical approaches. So under that, we still need some sort of good implements which can be used between the crops to manage the weeds, or we need to work on the seed weed harvesters, which may be also very effective under non-chemical managements. And of course, use of bioherbicides. Earlier, some bioherbicides were produced, were developed, but they have lost their efficacy. Now, there is also need to develop and look forward about these bioherbicides. This is the need of the hours to develop such sort of technology. And of course, we have to find out the solution in the way of use of drone technology, use of unmanned vehicles for management of the weeds by way of spraying or by way of other weeds. Now we have to think about the robotics, not only to identify the weeds from the crops, but the weeds from the similar type of the weeds from the crops. For example, Phalaris minor and both this wheat, both seems to be very similar. But is there any robotics or any implements or system which can identify the Phalaris minor among the weeds? Some work in Scotland is going on there, and I hope in future these all technologies will going to help us. And of course, a very good way of management is the utilization. In fact, this aspect of the utilization is lacking, and some researches are going on. A lot of research papers we will find on the utilization, but utilization of the weeds cannot be successful if it is not cost effective. Of course, we can talk that we can produce dye, we can produce papers, we can produce composites from the weeds, but whether these technologies are cost effective or not. Once we develop the cost effective technologies for the weed science, certainly we will come forward to manage the weeds also effectively. So there are particularly the theme of this weed is the weed problems and management challenges, and we have to find out the solution, and we have to find out the ways forward. Thank you very much. Thank you very much again.
In the history of mankind, through research, we have invented a lot of things. And we have made our life easier, much easier, day by day. But the people who are working behind the scene, behind this scenario, we have invented one more thing. We, mankind, have invented one more thing, and that is the recognition. So, to recognize such people, to acknowledge their accomplishments, now the next is award presentation. So, may I now request Dr. J.S. Mishra, Secretary ISWS, for presenting the awards.
Thank you very much. It's indeed a matter of, again, a pleasure for me to announce the names of Indian Society of Weed Science Awards for the biennium 2021. Of course, there is a large list of the awardees, but as our keynote speaker is the former Director General ICAR and Secretary Director Dr. Tilochan Mahapatra Sahab, who will join sharply at 11:30. So just I will cut the list of awardees for this moment. The remaining awards will be given after the keynote address. So to start with the awards, I will go first the Lifetime Award, Achievement Award. So the Lifetime Achievement Award for the biennium 2020-2021 goes to Dr. T.V. Ramchandra Prasad. Dr. T.V. Ramchandra Prasad worked as a professor and principal investigator of All India Quantitative Weed Management Program throughout his career at the University of Agricultural Science, Bengaluru. He developed a number of research practices for different crops and cropping system, and also the quarantine beets. Besides, he has guided many MSc and PhD students, and he is also the recipient of Fellow of Indian Society of Beet Science and Fellow of other societies and Gold Medal of the Indian Society of Beet Science. In recognition of his outstanding contribution in Indian agriculture in general and beet science in particular, the Indian Society of Beet Science is pleased to confer upon Dr. T.V. Ramchandra Prasad the ISWS Lifetime Achievement Award for the biennium 2020-21. So now I request the Honorable Chair to please give the award to Dr. Ramchand Prasad. The next award is ISWS Special Recognition Award 2021. This award goes to Dr. O.S. Kandasamy. Dr. Kandasamy is a renowned bead scientist from the Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Coimbatore. In his career, he guided many MSc and PhD students, and he extensively surveyed and published a bead atlas of Tamil Nadu, which later served as a guidebook for many other ICRP centers. In recognition of his outstanding contribution to bead science, the Indian Society of Bead Science is pleased to confer upon Dr. O.S. Kandasamy the ISWS Special Recognition Award for biennium 2021. Now I request the dais to please confer the award. The second ISWS Special Recognition Award goes to Dr. Meg Singh. Of course, he could not make it to come over here, but we all know that Dr. Meg Singh is a renowned bead scientist. He is presently working in the University of Florida since 1972, and also is recognized throughout the bead science community around the world as one of the leaders in plant protection. He is a pioneer worker in the field of bead science. He has published many research papers and guided many students in bead science from India and abroad. So in recognition of his outstanding contribution to Indian agriculture in general and bead science in particular, the Indian Society of Bead Science is pleased to confer is pleased to confer upon Dr. Meg Singh the Indian Society of Bead Science Special Recognition Award for the biennium 2021. Now I request Dr. Amit Jhala. Is not there? Okay. So in absentia, the award is conferred and it will be sent to Dr. Meg Singh. Congratulations. The other award category is Indian Society of Bead Science Gold Medal 20 and 21. The first award goes to Dr. Mahesh K. Upadhyay. Dr. Mahesh K. Upadhyay did his graduation and post-graduation from the Indian Agriculture Research Institute, IRI, New Delhi. Right now, he is working in British Columbia, Canada, and he has got so many awards and recognition. The highest recognition for the bead science in Canada, prestigious Klingman Teaching Award, and Outstanding Teaching J.F. Richard Award. So in recognition of his outstanding contribution, the Indian Society of Bead Science is conferring the award of ISWS Gold Medal 20 to Dr. Mahesh K. Upadhyay. The ISWS Gold Medal Award 2021 goes to Dr. A.S. Rao. Dr. A.S. Rao is a very senior agronomist and bead scientist in particular. He extensively worked on various aspects of bead management, especially in rice fellow programs. He has got many awards, including Best Teacher Award, Fellow of Indian Society of Bead Science, Gold Medal of Indian Society of Agronomy, and many more. In recognition of his outstanding contribution The Indian Society of Bead Science is pleased to confer upon Dr. S. Rao the ISWS Gold Medal for the year 2021. The another ISWS Gold Medal Award 2021 goes to Dr. S.S. Punia. We all know that Dr. S. Punia is a very practical bead scientist, and he worked as a principal investigator at Haryana Agriculture University, Hisar, throughout his career. And he was very instrumental in managing the herbicide-resistant Felis minor and also the parasitic bead Orobanki in mustard. Besides, he guided many MSc and PhD students. So in recognition of his outstanding contribution in bead science, the Indian Society of Bead Science is pleased to confer Dr. Punia ISWS Gold Medal for 2021. So friends, as I told in the beginning, because of the paucity of time, because our keynote speaker will join immediately after IT, so just the remaining awards will be presented after the keynote address. So now I request the colleagues to please go further. Yeah.
Recognition is always encouraging. Congratulations to all the winners. Moving on, it's a pleasure to have amongst us today's guest of honor, Dr. Samundar Singh, President, International Wheat Science Society, USA. We are waiting for your remarks, sir. Please.
Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here in the beautiful and serene campus of Anand Agriculture University, Anand, and I welcome you all. My previous speakers, learned Dr. Jhala, he had a very inspirational talk in the morning and apprised of the problems here. And this was, added more by our DDG and DG Agriculture. So that made my job very easy. So I'm gratified to the organizers, Dr. Sushil Kumar, President of Indian Society of Wheat Science, Dr. J.S. Mishra, Secretary Indian Society of Wheat Science, dynamic Dr. K.B. Kathiria, Vice Chancellor of Anand Agricultural University, Anand, Dr. Jhala, very dynamic research director, Dr. Shukla, DDGICR, DGICR. So it's a great, honor to be here to address this galaxy of scientists from India and abroad. And particularly my teacher, Dr. Alice Brad, Reverend Dr. M.K. Upadhyay, Dr. Prashanta Bhomik, Dr. Fuji, Dr. Yaduraju, Dr. Ajit Tomar, Dr. Kanda Swami, Dr. Prasad, Dr. Patel, Chinu Swami, Chinamuthu, Rao, Dr. Punia, P.K. Singh, U.P. Singh, and many more. And the budding bead scientists who are performing wonderful on the world platform, Dr. Bhagirath Chauhan, Dr. Muthu, Dr. Amit Jhala, Dr. Virendra Kumar, friends from industry, academia, students, ladies and gentlemen. There cannot be a more opportune time than this third International Weed Congress to talk about the challenges before us in case of weed science. And the weed science is only the subject which can contribute maximum to crop production, the challenges which are before us. Though in the last 6 decades, we have moved from begging bowl to feeding more than 1.5 million Indian populations, including many from adjoining areas also, and many mouths of the world. So this has been a great achievement. However, there are still, millions of mouths which are starving, which are having malnutrition, and more so because of the ladies and the boys and they are more in India than many other countries because they cannot afford to have a healthy food. This achievement which we have obtained in the last 6 years also has a cost. The first cost was loss of diversity in the crops, their varieties, and also the weeds, which is our bread and butter. There are issues like soil sickness, loss of herbicide efficacy. Herbicide resistance is also one of them. So moisture is also one of the issues in this case, loss of activity of herbicide and herbicide resistance. Untimely rains and higher temperature at the at the harvest, we have lost much of the yield, and we have to tackle these burning issues before us. Again, because of change of climatic scenarios and global warming, many weeds are emerging out of the season, and they produce seeds, which is again very challenging to us. So our DG has rightly addressed that weeds are smart, and we need smarter technologies. We have to move fast compared to the weeds so that we can overcome them. So we have to think out of the box. Hardly there's any situation where weeds cannot compete. So we have to learn from them. We have to adapt to their situation. So to meet these challenges, we need to understand the alphabets of weed management. When I say alphabets, this is A. A for artificial intelligence, automation in our spray techniques and other tools of weed management. B for biology of weeds, whether this is biocontrol, bioherbicides or mycoherbicides. So C4 is the chemistry of herbicides. We need to have more herbicides of different sites of action, and I'm sorry to say that in India, we are having only 20% of the molecules which are available in the world. So not only we need more number of herbicides, we need more volume of herbicides, and that too by addressing the anti-herbicide information in the media. So we have to address this issue also, that herbicides are more safest pesticides compared to insecticides and fungicides. Because herbicides particularly work on particular enzyme, and that enzyme is absent in humans as well as in animals. Again, when we apply herbicides, we apply at the time of sowing or within 30 to 50 days. And by the time we harvest the crop, not much is left there. Some herbicide may pursue, they can have residues, but not as compared to insecticides and fungicides. So we have some advantage in this case. So again, coming back to other issues like say development of new tools. We can have CRISPR-Cas9, RNAs, omics. When we talk about genetic manipulation, yes, we have developed some varieties. We have GM cotton, but we couldn't come up with herbicide-tolerant cotton. Even being herbicide-tolerant crops is not important. Most important is to break the barrier of yield plateau, which we have today. So these GM crops are good, but they will not harm. They will not do any much better to the farmers if we don't produce more by minimizing the use of pesticides and being safe to the environment. So we need better formulations of herbicides, herbicide mixtures, surfactants, use of growth promoters, including microbes. This is one of the fields which has been less exploited. There are many microbes which help to suppress the weeds as well as controlling them. We need to increase herbicide efficacy. We need to use the knowledge of phenomics, including genomics. Intelligent agronomic practices is a must. We can manipulate our sowing time depending on emergence of weeds. We can change our planting patterns, seed rate, varieties, and the manipulative things which we can do. And the most important issue is judicious use of herbicides, timely application, proper application. Fertilizers. Fertilizers play a pivotal role because if you apply more herbicides, then weed becomes more robust and we need more herbicides to manage them. And there's issue of moisture everywhere. Water is getting scary or scarce here everywhere. So we have to go for micro irrigation, and that micro irrigation not only will save water, but also with herbigation, we can increase the efficacy of herbicide. There is less attack of insect and pests because the moisture is controlled. We get higher yield and less diseases in this case. We need to move towards new technologies. whether this includes robotics, remote sensing, weed seed harvesters, innovative technology, like say if we can detect herbicide resistance well in time, integrate all the technologies because herbicide will not work alone in the long run. So we have to move out of herbicides only and have to integrate all the possible technologies available to us. And that also includes new site of action of herbicides by using undruggable target sites by designing peptide pesticides. So these are, the future challenges, and we can address them. Many of the herbicides which we have recommended have problem of herbicide resistance. So herbicide alone will not work. Even with the GM crops, we need a residual herbicide so that we can have season-long control of the weeds, and where biology of weeds will be very important. Then investment in the manpower is very important. We have to train our students. We have to upgrade the knowledge of our weed scientists to be in league with the world weed scientists and to deliver to our farmers in a sustainable manner. And we can help all our farmers as well as the stakeholders in this case. Hosting an international weed congress will go a long way in this case. And I, being the president of International Weed Science Society, assure you that if Indian Society of Weed Science bids for 2028 Congress, I'll be very happy to support you for that, for 2028 Congress. And that will help, to motivate our students to learn more about weed science. And if you look at the global scenario, we are not making an impact. So we have to move in that direction. And the best training to our scientists and students is must for that. I'm sure the dedicated efforts of Indian Society of Weed Science will be very successful in furthering the cause of weed management and enhanced production by controlling weeds, as weed management can increase the yield by 70% compared to 15 to 20% by insects and diseases. So this is very important. And again, if you look at the conference, they have designed in a very proper way. There are many good speakers here, and I'm sure that you will enjoy science, not only science, but also the culture, heritage, and history of Gujarat once you are here. And I'm happy that all the organizers, the Vice Chancellor, Dean Directors, and all the persons involved in this organization, they are very forthcoming. If you need any help, they are very pleased to help you. So this is again the culture of Gujarat, and I congratulate you for that. So thank you very much. So I wish you all the best for the successful Congress. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. May I now request our guest of honor, Professor Yoshiharu Fuji, who has come down to our place a long way from Tokyo University of Agriculture and Technology, Japan. Sir.
Thank you so much. This is my first experience to be a guest of honor. So I don't know what I should say. So sorry, different to the previous very good presentation by the president of International World Weed Science Society, and he said everything. So I'd like to say I like India very much. When I was a student, it's true. When I was a student, I like Indian philosophy. So I studied Sanskrit for 3 years. But it's very, very difficult, very, very difficult. And to read only 110 sentences take 1 day. So now I cannot read. But at the song started today by the females, that song reminded me the old song. So it's very, very familiar and very good. So it's common to all people in the world. And I'm sorry, today I have no name tag because last night I arrived very late at night, 11 o'clock, because from Tokyo to this Anand, it took 24 hours, only 1 day, because I cannot change my airplane at Delhi airport. I frequently visited all around the world, about 40 countries, and more than 200 times I visited many countries for the research. But for these 3 years, because of coronavirus, I didn't go abroad. So I forgot. New Delhi airport is so huge airport, so large airport. I had a mistake to connect from international departure to domestic departure. And I'm so not so big scientist like the previous previous scientist. I'm only working for allelopathy, only very small field. But I used to be a president of International Allelopathy Society because I organized in Japan fourth International Allelopathy Society. So after that, I got a good budget. So, and promote the research of our group. So I believe this kind of research, the organizer make a very, very excellent one, will be very useful, very important for the future of weed science in India also and also in the world. And I always think this kind of conference is a very good chance to meet old friends, and also to find new friends. So to find new friends and to talk to new friends, it's very important. And later in my presentation, I would like to explain, I'd like to collaborate with you and with many scientists. And so one or two more things I'd like to say, I forgot, so I'm so sorry there. But I hope you will find good friends, and I feel very thankful for the organizers and for this university and for the people who organized this very much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's a great pleasure to listen to you, sir. Thank you so much for so very kind and humble words. Thank you. May I now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. K.B. Kathiria, to place his presidential address. Please, sir.
Good morning to everyone. So I am again in front of you to talk about what we can say some of the points in relation to this conference. It is my privilege to be with you all this sensational morning on the occasion of inaugural function of third International Wild Conference, Wild Problems and Management Challenges, Future Perspectives. Today, Chief Guest, Honorable Director General, ICR and Secretary there, Dr. Himanshu Pathak Sir, Guest of Honor, DDG, NRM, Dr. S.K. Chaudhary, President of the International Weed Science Society, USA, Dr. Samandar Singh, Professor Yoshiharu Fuji, Tokyo University of Agriculture and Technology, Japan, Dr. Sushil Kumar, President, Indian Society of Weed Science, Dr. J.S. Mishra, Organizing Secretary and Director, ICR, Directorate of Weed Research, Jabalpur, Dr. M.K. Jala, Director of Research and Dean PG Study of Anand Agriculture University, Dr. Y.M. Shukla, Dean of this college, local organizing secretary, delegates from different parts of the country as well as abroad, all the university officers, unit heads, heads of departments, press and media persons, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I take this opportunity to thank the officials of the Indian Society of Weed Science and ICR, Directorate of Weed Research, Jabalpur, for choosing Anand Agriculture University as the venue to host this very important conference. I am sure all of you are enjoying your stay at this beautiful campus and beautiful city. So, lot of things have been discussed, and previous the speakers have told about the whole scenario of the weed science. So I think nothing has been left away for me, I think. So I don't want to just discuss about these more things about these weeds and other related things. But here we know very well that both the societies, international and this National Society of Weed Science, they are doing wonderful job, because at various platforms we are seeing that different societies are working at national level. But these both societies are, I appreciate that these national level, the Indian Society of Weed Science, and at international level also, the Weed Science Society, both are working very well to what we can say resolve the problems of the farmers particularly. So this is a great thing. Second thing is that the different activities of the societies particularly, they are arranging such kind of conferences and other these seminars and all these things. And during this course of this, what we can say, this thing, we have seen that they have awarded and they have, what we can say, given some of the medals to these, what we can say, the eminent scientists, weed scientists, I can say, of the country. So I congratulate to all the awardees and these gold medalists for what we can say winning such kind of what we can say, and not only that, but you are honored by the society to for your great contribution in this what we can say scientific endeavor. In case of weed science particularly, I would like to say what we can say something about the these new fields, new eras, how we can combat with the these weed problems. So we, as previous our talks, Dr. Samudra Singh also told about these new technologies, not only new but now it is old. These what we can say BT plus HT technology. So these both technologies have been developed since so many years before, and particularly 4 crops I can say, these corn, canola, cotton and soybean. These 4 crops have been what we can say used particularly for this technology, combined technology I can say. But in some of the countries, both these technologies have been not educated, or some problems have been what we can say, right, like just like in India. Particularly we know very well that this HT technology is not what we can say this released even today. So only this BT technology, BT cotton, only one crop has been what we can say advocated, and we used and we have harvested very what we can say fruitful results, and what cotton scenario has been changed due to only this single technology. So if it is double, then this BT plus HT, then I think just double benefit will be harvested by the farmers. But here some of these GMO, these release of the GMO and other things recently, these mustard GMO, GSE has already granted the permission, and there also these herbicide issue is also there. So I think in coming years, coming days, if some relaxation will be there for release of such kind of technology, then definitely the farmers will be benefited by using these biotechnology tools. But now in relation to this, I would like to say that now non-GMO technology, particularly now genome editing technologies are what we can say coming on a fast pace. Not only that, but in India particularly, we know very well that government of India during in February, they have given the relaxation about release of the products through these genome editing, particularly these biosafety and other these issues. And the product, some of the products will not be GMO, and end product will be non-GMO. So if we can develop the varieties or crops through this genome editing for these herbicide tolerant, then I think this is the what we can say new area, and which will what we can say solve the problems of the farmers and scientists, because a lot of work has been carried out by the different laboratories, different institutes in relation to what we in contest to these HT technologies. But here the problem is that the release. Again at the end, when end product will come, at that time there are so many UN cry and issues, and we cannot resolve it. But here by using this genome editing technology, I think this is the new area No, why I am talking you, because it is not just I am talking, but in US and other these countries, a number of private and these public laboratories are doing lot of efforts for such kind of what we can say this research, particularly for development of these genome editing HT crops or HT varieties. So this is also a new area of research. Particularly I would like to say here, because genome editing can be adapted here. Then I think for resolving of these weed problem, definitely we will help to the farmers. Again, one important issue, already our Honorable DG sir also told that this natural farming and organic farming, both these what we can say farming systems. Again, the major issue is the weed management. So I think at present there is no any remedy to how to solve these problems. But in future, if these bio-herbicides or any other kinds of herbicides can be developed, then we can help to the farmers, those who are interested for the organic and natural farming cultivation of different crops. The another important this field is the nano herbicides, because now everywhere after coming of nano fertilizer, everybody is talking about nano, and in all these fields, this nano is coming. So the same way, this nano herbicide is also equally important. And if we can see the literature, then a lot of these research have been carried out by different research stations. And I think in coming years, if nano these herbicides can be released, then I think it will be what we can say more agriculture sustainable, or we can say eco-friendly and low cost, what we can say these management of these weeds will be there. So here again for nano also they have lot of research already says that these organic, inorganic or these hybrid these molecules of both kinds they have been studied on a large scale, and I think in coming days, these nano herbicides is a new field of research and will definitely help the what we can say these farmers. One important issue Dr. Jala has just told about the invasive weeds. We have these invasive insects. A lot of debate have been done when new pests are coming, and last year also these black thrips of Chile and this fall armyworm, when it has been introduced in our country at that time, there was a hue and cry, and a lot of things have been discussed. But in case of weeds also the same problem, or more than that problem is there, because when I was going through the literature and I come to know that the highest invasive weed species have been introduced in the India at world level, and that is about 200 numbers is there. So you see the how many these invasive or the weed species have been introduced from other countries in our country. So that is a most concern when we are talking about these weed what we can say science. This issue is also most important. We know very well that how it is coming to our country, because it is not directly what we can say just like insect. We are not what we can seeing it seriously. Why? Because if immediate effect is not there, that's why we are not considering it. But when there is a what we can say the area or these what we can say these whole these weed can be spread out like anything, just like lantana camera and these what we can say Congress grass, Parthenium. So we know very well that. So this kind of things should be what we can say think national level and international level also. So if Dr. Singh Sahab is here, so internationally also there is need to think about some what we can say the check on such kind of things. Then I think in future we can what we can say control that type of these situation. Not only what we can say from other countries, but within countries also there are so many problems. here also, because in some of the areas, some of the weeds are not what we can say found, but and some of the weeds even what we can say in very small numbers, or we can say that can not create that much problems. But here interstate transfer of these seeds and saplings, seedlings and other materials. At that time, a lot of these weed seeds are coming together. At that time, the weed is not what we can say predominant, or it cannot be even observed. That kind of weeds are introduced from other states or other areas. So for that also, some of what we can say precautions should be taken, or some of the guidelines should be prepared at national level, so that we can check that kind of things. Otherwise, whatever weeds we have received from other countries, that type of weeds will be introduced from one state to another state, and it will create a lot of problems. One unique example I would like to tell. So Gujarat is the free state as far as this what we can say Phalaris minor is concerned, gilli danda. There is not a single weed is available in the state. But since last few years, the what we can say wheat combine harvesters are coming from the Punjab and Haryana for what we can say harvesting of the wheat in the Gujarat state. When they will come, you see a critical situation is there. Why I am giving this unique example? Because how these wheat seeds are transferred from one place to another place. That is a unique example I would like to quote here. So at the last threshing of wheat at Punjab, at that time whatever wheat seeds are inside the thresher, combined thresher, harvester, and along with that the Phalaris minor seeds are also available in that particular this combined harvester. And when they will start to come over here, at that time they will start directly to harvest the wheat. At that time whatever wheat seeds are there, but along with that these Phalaris minor seeds are also there, and they will what we can say come in the field or come with the what we can say these harvested seed commodity of the wheat. So at that time we have critically observed that particularly. If we cannot take care, then definitely these Phalaris minor will flourish like anything in the Gujarat state. For that also our with science department has taken care, and we have made a campaign for awareness among the farmers, or when the owners of the combined harvester, those who are coming from Punjab and Haryana, we are also telling that yes, you clean these combined harvester at your place, and then you bring these harvester at our place. So this is a very small thing, but in future it will create a lot of problem. So in this way, I think that the new weeds are what we can say interstate transfer, or from one area to another area is there. So I think these are some of the few things. I am not a what we can say weed scientist, so I don't want to deliberate, and all 3 days you are again going to what we can say deliberate and discuss the various issues as far as these weed science is there. So again I welcome you all here in Anand Agriculture University, or we can say milk city of the India, and definitely our team has made their best efforts to provide all the logistic and other these facilities. But if anything, any difficulties you are facing, that part is from our side, my side. So for that also, pardon me. And if any problem is there, anytime you can call to our team, and it will be resolved. But our team has, I think, tried their best level, and there should not be left away any small things also. So with these few words, again I welcome you, and I hope that you will enjoy for 3 days, and those who are interested to visit this Statue of Unity, it is very near. You can what we can say go there and enjoy along with scientific discussion. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, before we move ahead with the next part of the function, We are going to continue with the award ceremony. So, may I now request Sir to continue with presenting awards.
किसमें किसमें ओके किसमें रहेगा भाई ओके ओके The next ISWS Recognition Award 2021 goes to our industry colleague Dr. P.J. Suresh. Dr. P.J. Suresh is there? Or anybody from Bayer Crop Science is there and who can take the award on behalf of Dr. P.J. Suresh? Nobody is there. Okay. So this award goes to Dr. P.J. Suresh. We will post him. The other ISWS Recognition Award 2021 goes to industry colleague Dr. Sunil Kumar. He is working, he did his PhD from Haryana Agriculture University, Hisar, and he joined agriculture industry in year 2007 and worked on different aspects of herbicide management in Asia Pacific. So in recognition of his outstanding contribution in bead science, Indian Society of Bead Science is pleased to confer Dr. Sunil Kumar the ISWS Recognition Award for the year 2021. Okay. The ISWS Dr. T.B. Muniappa Young Bead Scientist Award 2021 goes to Dr. C.R. Chetan. He is an engineer, scientist working at Directorate of Bead Science Research. So he did his PhD from IIT Kharagpur and working on mechanical bead management aspect. So in this award, 10,000 rupees cash will be transferred to his credit. So the Indian Society of Bead Science is pleased to confer Dr. T.V.S. Muniappa Young Bead Scientist Award for the biennium 2021. The next award in this category, ISWS Professor V.S. Ramdas Young Bead Scientist Award goes to Dr. Todar Malpunia. He is our principal investigator at Haryana Agriculture University, Hisar, and working on different aspects of herbicide resistance management and parasitic beads. So this award is on the name of the Guruji of Dr. A.N. Rao, the Chief Editor of the Bead Science. So here also the 10,000 cash will be credited to Dr. Todar Malpunia. The other award is Dr. Sri A. Ramarao Best PhD Thesis Award in the name of Dr. A.N. Rao's father. It goes to Dr. Satya Prakash Kumar. He is an engineer in ICR Central Institute of Agriculture Engineering, Bhopal, and working on various aspects of bead management. So the Indian Society of Bead Science confers this award to Dr. Satya Prakash Kumar, and rupees 10,000 cash will be credited to in his account. The other ISWS award goes to Dr. W. Datta. This award name is Mrs. A. Ansuya Best Teacher Award, Best PhD Thesis Award 2021. It is in the name of mother of Dr. A. N. Rao, who actually contributed a large amount for this award. So another 10,000 rupees will be credited to Dr. Datta's credit. She is working in fact at the Kolkata, and she is honored with the Bead Science Society and Asia Pacific Bead Science Society for many awards and recognitions. So with this, congratulations to all the, where it is. Now the two more awards are also there. ISWS Professor B.S. Chauhan Best Paper Award. The award for 2020 goes to Dr. Nitin Tiwari, Srikant Chikle, and Tapas Chaudhary. Anyone can join and collect the award. Please hurry up. So this is for long-term bead management effect on bead dynamics, bead shift and productivity in direct seeded rice chickpea system. The other award for 2021 Best Research Paper Award goes to C. Durga and S. Anita on the title Effect of Conservation Agriculture Practices on Bead Management in Okra Rice, Okra Green Gram Cropping System, published in Indian Lab Bead Science. The other award, the final award, is the Best ISWS Book Award, and the award for 2021 goes to Professor Mahesh K. Upadhyay. Please come, please join. Why you are late? Please join. No time. Yeah, so Dr. Pramila is taking the award on behalf of Dr. C. Durga. Yeah, thank you so much, thank you so much. The best book award goes to Professor M.K. Upadhyay. The book title is Global Plant Invasion. So, thank you very much, the dais, and congratulations to Professor Upadhyay for having this award. So, with this award, I once again congratulate the award winners and thank to the dais for giving this award. So now, so from Bayer's Crop Science, please take your award. कहाँ भाई Bayer Crop Science का? Bayer का award कहाँ है? Bayer. नहीं, Dr. P.J. Suresh award, where it is? अरे अभी दिया ना भाई. Yeah, in the absence. Okay. So now on behalf of the Dr. P.J. Suresh from the Bayer industry, Dr. Ashish is there and he will take the award from the dignitaries. So congratulations to the awardee. So once again, congratulations to you all. And thank you very much for the dais, for the honorable dignitaries and delegates for making this program a success. Now it is over to the convener of AAU.
Once again, congratulations all those people who have received these awards today. Now, may I request Dr. Y.M. Shukla, Principal and Dean, BA College of Agriculture, to offer word of thanks.
Very good morning to one and all. It is a great honor and privilege for me to propose a vote of thanks on this memorable occasion of inauguration session of 3rd International Wheat Conference on Wheat Problems, Management, Challenges, a Future Perspective. First and foremost, I feel immense pleasure, obliged and blessed to have presidential address on this function by our beloved Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. K.B. Kathiria sir, for not only granting the necessary approval to organize this event, but also to visualize and sensitizing the key issue in agriculture. Sir has always remained a plentiful source of motivation and guidance. I am heartily thankful to you for your kind support and nurturing this auspicious occasion. We are very grateful and obliged for the online presence of our chief guest, Dr. Himanshu Pathak sir, Secretary DARE, and DGICA New Delhi, who despite of ever busy schedule has spared time to grace this occasion. We feel highly honored and privileged for your kind support and inspiring speech in much lucid and informative manner. Your vast experience, suggestions, dynamism, and valuable guidance have bolstered our motto to proceed towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are grateful and obliged by the presence of our guest of honor, Dr. Suresh Kumar Chaudhary ji, DDG NRM ICR New Delhi, who despite of his again ever busy schedule has graced this occasion. Sir, every word of your speech has enlightened us and refreshed us with memories to cherish this gala event forever in light of wheat science management and future perspectives. I also express my heartfelt thanks to our guest of honor, Dr. Samundar Singh, President ISWS USA, for devotion, dedication and august presence despite of busy roadmap. I also express my heartfelt thanks to our another guest of honor, Professor Yoshiharu Fuji, Tokyo University of Agriculture and Technology, Japan, for his gracious presence and address on research developments and know-how in wheat science. We are grateful to our Director of Research and Dean PG Studies, Dr. M.K. Jala sir, for his never-ending enthusiasm, dedication, and eagle-eyed directives in framing this conference in a very decent manner. I thank Dr. Sushil Kumarji, President ISWS, Jabalpur. Okay. For his words of encouragement and extensive effort to foster his practical wisdom in making this function at its best. I thank you, sir, for your kindness, interest, hospitality, and continued support to make this event a grand success. I thank Dr. J.S. Misra ji, Secretary, ISWS, Jabalpur, for welcome address to all delegates and invited guests. I thank you, sir, for your painstaking interest and efforts to organize this conference for a grand success. I am again overwhelmed and also gladly express my heartiest gratitude to the participants who have arrived at our prestigious institute to attend this conference across the world, especially from USA, Canada, Japan, Philippines, Nigeria, Australia, and Bangladesh, and from all the states of India. Without your active participation, this auspicious occasion would have been a far-reaching reality.
Hello.
I greatly express my heartiest gratitude to Director of Extension Education, Dr. H.B. Patel, Registrar Dr. G.R. Patel, DIT Dr. Kathiria, DSW. Okay. So I shall continue later on. Thank you once all of you for coming over here and have a stay in Anand. Anand mein ho, Anand mein raho. Thank you all.
To move forward with the conference, we are glad to share this with everyone that we have with us, with his online presence, Dr. Mohapatra sir, former DGICR, and he is going to address all of us. So, sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Dr. Misra, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are quite audible.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't know who all are there, but I'm told Dr. Kathiria is chairing. I'm not sure. Okay, you are there. So, Dr. K.B. Kathiria, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Anand Agriculture University, Dr. Sushil Kumar, President of the Indian Society of Science and convener of this conference, Dr. J.S. Mishra, Director of Wheat Science Institute, Jabalpur, and Organizing Secretary, colleagues, delegates, friends, scientists, researchers, research scholars, students, the representatives of press and media, and everybody else who is linked to this program. It's my privilege to be here before you to deliver the keynote lecture. I was invited to be part of this conference. I didn't know in what format. And subsequently, Dr. Mishra says that I need the abstract of your presentation. So, I'm not a wheat scientist to give you a keynote lecture on wheats, on wheat science to this learned gathering. Primarily the wheat scientists who have gathered today in this conference. However, when we visited, I still continued agreeing to be part of this conference and speak a few words. Uh, Certainly, my ignorance about weeds and then what is happening in weed science or weed management would be always displayed during my uh, uh, presentation, whatever I speak, and I don't have any slides, so I would speak extensively. Uh, I wanted some talking points from Dr. Mishra, and he has provided that, highlighting few important points which are quite relevant to the conference. I would try to, be around that, but speak few points beyond those, so that we take home some messages as we deliberate in this conference about various facets and the implications of weeds and weed science and weed management. The inaugural program is over, and the DDG and other stalwarts who were present might have covered some of the basic information about weeds. At the cost of repetition, I will very briefly mention. One has to really remember this. The importance of weeds, every one of us knows. We need in this country and globally to address food and nutrition security issues. These issues are there with us for a long time. We are producing enough, we are exporting, but the population is increasing, and that satisfying situation may not prevail for a long time. If we do not continue to innovate, to accelerate development of crops and increase in yields at a rate which is much higher than the population growth rates. In recent decades, the way population is increasing is quite challenging. And it is estimated, all of you know, that when we become about 1.7 billion people, surpassing that of China, and globally we are again close to 10 billion people. So that would be a kind of a challenge which is unthinkable at this point in time, that how much pressure would be there on the limited natural resources that we have in terms of land or soil, water, and our Earth's surface as such, with regard to the gaseous composition that we have. It may not change very dramatically, but minor distortions in these compositions can bring devastating effects. If carbon dioxide concentration increases or monoxide concentration increases, nitrous oxide keeps emitted, being emitted from our agricultural fields and keeps increasing. So that would certainly place us in a very, very difficult situation. What extent we will be able to meet the demands of food, nutrition, fiber, fuel wood, and even feed, because the global population, which is non-vegetarian, more so in India, is increasing. So though there are in certain sections preference for vegetarian diets, but still the non-vegetarian food system demand is quite high. And once that increases again, there will be more demand on feed and food grains for animals. So So this demand might go up, requiring 70 to even 100% increase in food grain production. And that's quite scary. With our limited resource base, natural resource base, which is already degraded, and we talk of land degradation, neutrality, fixing targets for all of us. And similarly, we are talking about water shortage and the way we are going to, fight wars not only between countries, even between states, and which is quite evident in India, and even within state between two districts and regions. The upstream of the canal system, the downstream of the canal system, the drinking water supply shortage. So all these are going to increase. The 5,100 cubic meter of water per capita availability, which was there in 1950-51, is no more. It is brought down to maybe 1,500 cubic meter. So as we go in future, there will be plenty of rainfall, and India is going to be positive with regard to rainfall because of climate change. But that's not going to be evenly distributed, and heavy downpour days are increasing, and they are going to increase further. And all this extra water will be all drained to the ocean, and if we don't harvest, and that is going to really create havoc. So all these challenges of increased human population at the global level, and also at in our own country, in India, besides the degradation of natural resource base, the climate change, and climate change impacts in various ways, all these are quite challenging. And what is associated challenge for India very specifically is the malnutrition. We say that we have plenty of produce, we are exporting. Rice export more than 15 million tons per consecutively 2-3 years, and total export touching $50 billion mark despite COVID, and providing free food to more than 80 crore people for more than a year. These are all positives. But despite that, we have challenges of malnutrition. The way our children are stunted or they are wasted, underweight problems being quite widespread among children, and women being quite anemic in nature. So all these are going to impact the future population, future generations. Because if brain development doesn't take place at the early stage, and the genetics being same, but epigenetic effects being quite devastating, and epigenetic changes going to be inherited, going to the next generations without DNA sequence change. So those changes are going to impact generations subsequently. So how do we really manage all this? Unless we have sufficient food, unless we have nutritious food, so we'll not be able to really have this healthy population. We talk of food system transformation globally and also nationally. How do you transform food systems? While transforming food systems, we must not forget the environment, the ecosystem, and the ecosystem services which are rendered thereof. So how do we actually take into account enhanced food production, production of nutritious food to meet the demands and address malnutrition, which is so all pervasive, without compromising the productivity of land, water, and all that, and without polluting environment, and taking care of environment health and ecosystem services without interfering with them. So all these are to be taken care. And an important component of this production system is the weeds. We all know that the stresses, particularly biotic stresses, they do impact the production negatively. There are various estimates how our food system is getting impacted. the weeds worldwide, it is estimated, they cause about 35 to 36% in loss. We lose or produce to weeds because not because they eat away our harvest, but because they don't allow crops to really bear enough economic part to be consumed. So this is one. And of course, we say that insects and pathogens and follow weeds. Weeds are the major ones. So this estimate is there, and our institute, our colleagues from India have also estimated the amount of loss that we encounter. It's quite scary that $11 billion getting lost because of weeds being, so devastatingly impacting the production across the country in various cropping systems. This is quite challenging ones. And how do we do this? And that too in just 10 major crops, such a huge loss. And if we go on adding new crops and cropping systems, so this loss would further increase. So there's a recent estimate and kind of loss which is about 8,000 crores, they say, per annum. So various estimates are there. I'm not going to go those details. But what is important is that we have a challenge of food nutrition security. We have the challenge of sustainable production system and transformation of food system without compromising environmental health. At the same time, because of changing climate, we have challenges, particularly due to biotic stresses. The insects, the diseases, the nematodes, the weeds, the arthropods and all that, the rats and other insect species, and so on and so forth. Even animals. So causing severe damage in certain environments and certain regions. So keeping all this in mind, and my time is limited, so I can't go on describing all this introductory aspect elaborately. But we have challenges and we have difficulties, and we know these challenges very well. Our colleagues have really worked out, how weeds really impact crops, and there is no second opinion about it. We do have losses due to weeds, and we do have, management practices in place, and we keep describing all India coordinated trial systems in different crops. Keep trying different, molecules and coming out with the different recommendations about how to manage weeds in different crops and cropping systems, in nurseries, in plantation crops, and so on and so forth. So our research is going on in the direction of weed management. But still, we have crop losses. And as I said, and as the scientist colleagues have estimated the losses. But how do we really manage weeds in the future and meet these challenges? Very briefly, I will put a few points before you, and for the deliberation. And I'm sure you must have desired your conference to deliberate on those issues elaborately. But my perspective of putting those in my own words, that I would focus on and try to really finish it in another maybe 10, 20 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. I don't know how much time you are giving me, maybe 20 minutes, another. So, what we should really bother about weeds. We know what are the weeds. Anything which is not desired in a particular crop stand, the crop, particularly that a particular plant group that we describe as a crop, and anything else and everything else which is not a crop is weed. Even if that particular plant would be useful in some other situations, but the main field where the plants are of use and their majority of population is of use for us, and that's the purpose and objective of growing that particular species, everything else becomes weed. And we know how we have described weeds and how we are actually characterizing them and how we are understanding the behave, their biology, and how to really control them. So all aspects are covered in weed science research and development. But first and foremost, we must see that how the weed, population dynamics is changing. How much we understand the weed population dynamics. Weed population dynamics because of the changing climate, the temperature, the rainfall patterns, and all that which are happening, and how weed dynamics is changing. Unless we do analyze weed populations in time and space and take time and space into account, the same weed species and the community of weeds which are there, unless we study that in different points in time and at the same location and different locations and the space across locations over a period of time, and will not be able to really understand weed dynamics, how it is changing. And also with regard to the kind of organic, inorganic fertilizers we are adding to the soil, and whether it is organic field, inorganic field, or natural agricultural systems are being followed. So, so what is that system of cultivation? Whether it is tillage or no tillage, and under what situation we are growing, all these are impacting. When I was at CRRI, I requested scientists to work on the phosphate and nitrogen and other major fertilizer use vis-a-vis the weed flora and their compositions. And very good publications they have brought out that how use of different composition of the fertilizers influence the weed populations, and you all know this. So I believe very strongly we need to, given the kind of diversity in fertilizer use, balance and largely unbalanced use of fertilizers in different regions of the country, and different population cropping sequence which is being followed, how it is impacting the weed dynamics. Because we know that different species and because of allelopathy, which is very much evident, influence weed population and how it is getting impacted. So first and foremost, understanding weed dynamics, the population dynamics, so the population structure, and following proper biosystematic approach. And we must know, we don't have many biosystematic scientists today, but weed biosystematic specialists, we need to really describe weed species properly. And we don't discover any new species nowadays, but there is plenty of opportunity for us to describe new species and subspecies, and then see how they are increasing or decreasing in their population or getting extinct, and if they're getting extinct, and why and how, and what are the factors which are contributing to that. So in an evolutionary time scale, if you really study the weed population dynamics on a longer period of framework, we will be able to really understand these weeds, and our management would be far more effective. So that's the link with the management. So I believe that you all would be taking note of this, and if it is worth noting, and then do something about it. And our weed courses should actually talk about this. And in today's era for molecular biology and genetics and genomics, and I believe we have plenty of tools available to characterize weed populations and see the species delineation, the within species diversity assessment, and how they differ, how they vary over a period of time, and understand the dynamics and under different situations of tillage, fertilizer application, organic, inorganic, balance, unbalance, and also prevalence of climate change impacts, and also the kind of diseases and insects that impact weeds, many of them are getting impacted. And that needs to be really done, and that's will be my first point, which we must really take care. And that's not really enough. Weeds must be studied for their competitiveness, for their invasiveness. And they are the terms which are very well known to the weed scientists. what extent they are competitive, what extent they are invasive in nature. We know today the way lantana camera is growing all over the country, and today I am at Palampur and I see lantana camera all around, even high hills, and they grow so happily here. And that's an obnoxious weed, invasive weed, and grows growing everywhere. And similarly, water hyacinth, another kind of invasive weed that we see all around. And you all know the Prosopis julifera and how it grows and where it grows and the nature of this kind of weed. But more than that, there would be many other weeds. The invasiveness, the extent of it, the competitiveness across among the weeds, and we must really understand that has to be very systematic studies. You might be doing this. As I said, I might be ignorant about what you are doing, but I'll highlight some of the points so that they are emphasized and they are taken care as we go along with regard to reframing our research agenda, even teaching agenda, the way we teach to the students. It must be made exciting. That how do you study competitiveness among different weeds in a particular crop and cropping system, so that you see that a particular weed eliminates all other weeds because of allelopathy or due to some other reason, and then controlling that particular weed. And similarly, if we understand that, then we can also know from that how to control some of the weeds. If we know the allelopathic chemicals which is emitted by one weed, we can synthesize and use that to control the other weeds which are actually eliminated from other systems where this particular dominant weed, which is allelopathic in nature, is not there existing. So that must give us lessons, and we must learn lessons from this and then see the competitiveness and allelopathic nature and invasiveness of these weeds can tell us many things. We must understand the biology part of the invasiveness. Why a particular species is so much invasive? If we talk of Prosopis, and you will see there is salt tolerance and drought tolerance. See the root system characteristics, the architecture of it, the deep root system. In the Rajasthan desert, they are growing so happily. So how do they survive? What is that mechanism? And that mechanism is to teach us, give us lessons to actually build similar system in crops for future. The crops for future must learn from the weeds, the invasiveness of the weeds, the competitive nature of the weeds. They must teach us lessons for breeding crops which would be competitive enough, which would be tolerant to of the climatic extremes of say temperature and salinity and sodicity. So that lesson we can learn from weeds. But at the same time, we can also build chemicals, identify chemicals based on allelopathy, and then control other weeds. But that's not really enough. You see the weeds which are growing in different ecosystems and niches, and what is that promotes them? What is the microbial interaction taking place? What are the other pathogens on weeds? And can we use those pathogens and insects? And I visited Weed Institute when I was Director General, and we have seen that they use some insects to control some weeds. But that was not really very effective. But I hope they will be working on that aspect. But identifying some of the very effective and efficient microorganisms to control weeds. The microorganisms are the pathogens of weeds, not of crops. But that's a very thin line. The pathogen can evolve and then impact also crops. But we have to be careful. It could be a biopesticide. So, as we use, BT, powder to control insect. So that way, we can also use them and, very effectively. So, particularly, I'm told, in recent years, we have not really discovered a new mechanism of action for weedicides. That used to happen very frequently in 1980s or 70s. But subsequent to that, in recent decades, we have not been able to really discover new mechanism of action, and that is quite scary. Unless you discover new molecules, new kind of control systems, particularly using chemicals and also biologicals, will not be able to really manage weeds very effectively. And more so in the context of evolution of weeds. Weeds are also evolving, and weeds are also getting traits which we call herbicide tolerance. And that is again another scary situation. And herbicide tolerance is known, and there are many examples of herbicide tolerance. And in the US, for instance, you do see herbicide tolerance in weeds in digitaria, for instance, horseweed, for instance. You do find resistance against glyphosate. And glyphosate resistant crops we have engineered by using a mutant EPSP synthesis gene. And that has been introduced in crops, genetically engineered crops are resistant to glyphosate. And glyphosate, as you know, that it kills everything. But then you have now weeds, for instance, as I said, horseweed or digitaria, they're all resistant to glyphosate, a mutant form of EPSP synthesis. If you take an example of digitaria, a recent study in 2022, which was published recently in Pest Management Science in 2022, that says that at 106 position of the gene, their amino acid substitution from proline to histidine has led to resistance to herbicide glyphosate. Glyphosate, you require 80 times more glyphosate to kill that particular weed digitaria. And that is quite scary. If your weeds acquire that kind of resistance because of selection pressure or otherwise in nature, so that would be quite challenging. We need to really understand this, the herbicide resistance in weeds. How do we really understand? And unless we know the biology of the weeds, at the global level, weed genome research is going on, and quite in-depth studies are happening, although it's not at the same level as the genome research as we do in case of crop plants. When we started in India to sequence rice genome in late 1990s and early 2000, and you will see that we didn't have any resources that time. We had to struggle to understand how to really do genome research. And today we have many genomes which are sequenced in these 20 years intervening period. But then in comparison to that, in case of weeds, about 35 genomes are sequenced, draft sequence is available, and about 6 genomes of different weeds are completely sequenced, which are called reference sequences. And now, how do you utilize this sequence resource? The sequence resources are being utilized for various purposes. To understand what is the genome structure, how they are evolving. There are highly repetitive sequences in weed genomes, and the diploid level is quite varying. Diploid, triploid, tetraploid, all different levels of ploidy levels in different weed species. Very complex genome sequences are available with regard to repetitive sequences. So the evolution component is, and particularly evolution in genetic sequences, particularly which are in relation to herbicide tolerance. Herbicide tolerance with regard to glyphosate or glufosinate or even acetolactate synthase mutations which are now available, and inverse Kaplan resistance, and some of these which are building up in different populations because of large-scale use of herbicides. We need to really manage them. How do you put multiple herbicide tolerance in crops so that crop management becomes easier? Or you deal with the weed side. How do you really develop weedicides which can kill the weeds, not the crops? Differential treatment. We have to identify those mutations, those target sites in crops. There are different pathways which are being dealt with in weeds itself. So unless we understand the genes, their sequences, their expressions, or the proteins, and unless we do that, we will not be able to target our the herbicides to kill them. So that is one aspect which is happening globally, and we should be part of the International Weed Genomics Consortium. International Weed Genomics Consortium. We should be part of that, learn from that, and build our capacity, our staff, our students, must be part of that, so that what all is happening in weeds, we should be able to understand, learn, train our students, expose them, and then in the process, build our own activity. From crop groups who are working on genome sequencing and other aspects of genomics, the weed scientists and particularly young scientists who are interested can actually learn. And from that, we can actually build better herbicides to deal with the herbicide resistance in weeds. And then I must say that not only genomics can be used to only manage weeds that way, but also the way the weed seeds are contaminating the crop seeds in seed production plots. And because of invasiveness, how these crops, the weeds are actually growing in their population and expanding their leases. So that is another important area. And using genomic tools, one can detect those weed seeds and how they contaminate the mid crop seeds, and then we can identify, reject those seed lots, and then in the process prevent spread of weeds across regions. And similarly, if we have weeds which are the genomic tools available, then we can see the herbicide tolerant weeds and their movement across countries, and we can actually help manage that. So weed genome research certainly is very, very useful, and I'm sure that will be taken note of. Not only that, we must understand that how in tropical regions, particularly I was talking about Prosopis and Lantana camara, they are not just weeds. Lantana camara can also give us fodder. Lantana camara can give us genes for salt tolerance and wheat tolerance, the drought tolerance. Lantana camara can also give us many other economic products of value. How do we actually exploit weeds for commercial purposes? Are the crops? I think that should be one of our aspects of study, that the confined cultivation of such weeds and also their management with regard to control by using specific herbicides to take care of them, their spray will help us to get economic advantage out of weeds because of their invasive nature, because of their competitive nature. We should be able to really get benefit out of that. And similarly, Lantana camara. And Lantana camara is a weed. Certainly, it is a weed, but this also a haze crop and ornamental crop species. And you know the way the color pattern of their flowers and all that. And it is also used for various other purposes. In our Ayurvedic medicine system, it has many uses. Its oil extracted from leaf can be used for skin irritation, preventing skin irritation. And similarly, in treating of ulcers and treating of many other problems in Ayurvedic medicine system, and there are, for instance, asthma, chickenpox, malaria, and so on and so forth. We need evidences to be built around this. That research is going on elsewhere. But then these so-called weeds have very good properties. They can be cultivated for specific purposes to derive commercial advantage out of these weeds. And similarly, the weeds of annual crops and their dynamics, if we understand, and the various properties they carry, the nitrogen use efficiency in weeds. We don't apply nitrogen in natural populations, but they remain always green. What is that system mechanism they have evolved to have adequate nitrogen extracted from the soils? And what are those microbes which interact with their root system to provide that advantage? I believe the study of biology of the weeds is also equally important, and we need to really put adequate emphasis on those kind of weed science research and teaching. Of course, the kind of information that is emerging today and the way we are using precision agriculture systems to manage crops, more so for managing weeds, using herbicides, particularly in conservation agriculture systems. So how do we really have more use of precision agriculture platforms, conservation agriculture platforms, and the process learn to manage the weeds appropriately? Because inadequate use of herbicides or extreme use of excess use of herbicides, unwanted use of herbicides might lead to the herbicide resistance buildup. And so that should be taken note of. So on the basis of agriculture platforms, conservation agriculture platforms, and appropriate use of herbicides, appropriate weed control measures, mechanical. And if we have mechanical control measures, you don't have to really use the chemicals. But we know that the hand-held weeders, they are not ergonomically appropriate often, and the kind of energy they require, and human operations and involvement in that, and the kind of problems associated. So we need to really address the kind of, we are discussing in the National Academy of Agriculture Science, that how do we have improved machines to deal with agriculture as a whole, and weed management. Can we have weeders which are solar powered weeders, and very efficient weeders using solar power? So that kind of machines are required, and innovations in machine design, the light machines to carry long distance by small and marginal landholder farmers. So I believe that is what is actually the need of the hour. We have some machines. The hilly regions, how do you manage weeds? I was seeing this here. Another example I will cite, that is a weedy, species which is being used for extracting oil from the flower. The jungly genda, the weedy cagatus species. And that is being used to extract oil, and 1 kg of oil is fetching the farmers 15,000 rupees. So the weed which has been effectively put to use here in hills and low temperature conditions, and it gives 15,000 rupees per kg of oil. And that is an industry linkage value chain which has been created. And can we create this kind of value chains for other weeds? And that is another important point. And the Institute of Himalayan Biotechnology is working on this. So that is one aspect of it. The other aspect I was telling is that how do we actually, take these weeds and then put to use appropriately, and precision agriculture system and the machinery, particularly small machinery, light machinery, low-cost machinery, and AI-driven machinery, sensor-driven machinery in regions where this is very difficult to carry the machines for long distance, and small plots and slopy lands, and how to use these small machines and design those small machines for that, and even other regions. So that is another aspect I believe you will be discussing. And agriculture is becoming more and more digital, and digital technologies and automation and sensor-based systems are required to be put in place so that we are able to address weeds, not using chemicals, taking care of ecosystem services appropriately without disrupting any way that, and also at the same time not losing our yield to weeds, and that is quite important. And so I can say there are many different applications of weeds, and I should be able to really take full advantage of those. And at the end, I would say that I briefly mentioned that, but I need to emphasize that there is plenty of opportunity to build entrepreneurship in weed management, weed research, weed science, and for utilization of weeds, and also building newer molecules, discovery of new mechanisms of action for weed management. So industry partnership is so crucial. Our industry partnership is there. We take some molecules from industry, try them in different crops, define a particular concentration, and there our role ends. And I believe we must be involved in discovery of our agrochemical scientists, and the council and universities must work with industry to discover new mechanisms so that new targets are identified, and without affecting crops, we can actually kill the weeds. So I seriously believe that that part must be really strengthened. So industry partnership and building our youngsters' future in this particular area is very, very important. their career in this particular area is important. How do we really do this? We don't have faculty to teach properly weed science. And unless faculty is trained, so obviously there would not be actually proper human resource in this particular area being built. So that is again another area we need to really take care. So to be very brief and then to be very precise, that weed science is a very important area for activity, and this particular conference is very, very important. You say that this is the conference of weed scientists. There are delegates, scientists there, and press and media people. So we should spread the message that we should help weed management. Inadvertently, you should not be actually spreading the weeds. The way the water has sprayed, and every citizen has a role in preventing. So citizen role in controlling, managing weeds, that's also important. So creating awareness is important, and I believe all the colleagues here would help creating awareness to manage weeds, particularly those which are invasive in nature. So without taking any more time, thank you very much. I have taken more time and spoke few words, highlighted few points. There are many more things to really talk about, but carry forward. And I would stop here. Would like to stop here. Thank you very much, and wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of Anand Agricultural University and Indian Society of Weed Science and all of us from here, I extend sincere thanks to respected Dr. Mohapatra sir, former Secretary DARE and DGICR. Sir, you have always been a source of inspiration and strength, not only during your past tenures serving the agriculture of the country in various capacities, but also at present. Your insights on the topic, ensuring food security at global level, role of weed science, have been thought-provoking and in fact has set the platform for subsequent deliberations and discussions on this important aspect of agricultural research. I believe, sir, we are now better prepared for the remaining part of the conference. We remain indebted for your gracious presence, although virtually, and will continue to seek your blessings for the benefit of agriculture. On behalf of the President ISWS and Honorable Vice Chancellor of AAU and all of us, I again thank you, sir, for your esteemed presence. Thank you very much.
I may be allowed to take leave for other engagement. So wish the program grand success. Kathriya sir, kindly take it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Dr. Y.M. Shukla, Principal and Dean, to continue.
It is appropriate 11:30 a.m. So I will not take much time, only 90 seconds. So I am continuing that. I am thankful to all HODs of various departments of BA College of Agriculture and research scientists and other faculties of AAU for their untiring efforts, sleepless night and immense dedication. With hearty feelings, I thank all the sponsors and government agencies like ICR, AAU. Without their generous help, this event might not have been completed. I express my gratitude for their kind support. My heartfelt thanks to the national level organizing secretaries, conveners, and all committee members for nicely framing and smooth functioning of the conference. My very special thanks to local organizing committee, Dr. D.D. Chaudhary, co-convener Dr. V.J. Patel, Professor at Department of Agronomy, Dr. Gyanendra ji from Jabalpur. An event of this cannot be framed overnight. Will starts running months in advance. And I also extend my sincere gratitude to conveners as well as faculty members of all the committees for their enormous cooperation, encouragement and tireless support. I owe a special thank you to our non-teaching staff and all helpers who have worked hard to ensure this occasion becomes a memorable gala event. With hearty emotions of gratitude, I thank all the distinguished invitees present here for accepting our invitation. I thank the members of media persons covering each and every event and all those who work behind the screen. I am thankful to all PG students for their active participation and voluntary involvement in each committee. Last but not least, I thank all who directly or indirectly supported and cooperated in making this function a cheerful event. My special thanks to Dr. Nikhil Joshi and Arna Das for nicely anchoring this event. My best wishes for grand success and hope this 3 days conference will be knowledge sharing activities, very interactive and generate lot of hope for Indian agriculture in years to come. Last but not least, as Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel has told, there is something unique in this soil which despite many obstacles has always remained a abode of great souls. Have a wonderful and cherishable stay in Anand and enjoy the conference in true spirit. Once again, I thank you all of you for your kind attention. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Jai Garvi Gujarat.
We are about to end this session, and before we end it, there are two important announcements. It's our humble request to all our respected dignitaries to visit the exhibition which is there on left of this auditorium before they leave the venue. And after this session, we break for 20 minutes for high tea, and then once again we will get back to this auditorium for the next sessions. So let us now rise together for our national anthem.
पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मा